just try to play my part.
Hi guys, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Sam, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Alright, so let's get into a Q&A, military Q&A. So first of all, if you're new here, let me give you a little background about who I am and what is going on in my life. My name is Samantha, and I got married now 4 months ago. So okay, it's this whole process. If you want to watch my vlogs, you can. I have a whole marriage life playlist folder in my YouTube that you can catch up to my life up to today. But basically, we got married a year ago already, but that was only a court wedding, and then we got our actual church wedding 4 months ago and started living together 4 months ago. So legally it's been like a year, but for us we only counted about 4 months, and I've been with my husband now for almost 5 years in a relationship. So I did another video on like boot camp and my whole experience and all of that. So if you want to go back to my 19-year-old self or 20-year-old self, I don't even know, then you guys can go and watch that. But for now, we are currently on our first station together. So this is my first time living on base and doing all those wife duties. All right, so little backstory. Me and my husband met back in university and college. Military was never a part of my life. I majored in fashion design and then got an MBA in finance. So I'm a studied girl. So moving for the military was like not in my plans at all. You know, I want to be a fashion designer. I want to be in the fashion industry, and I actually have my own boutique. If you guys want to follow it, you can. I have a website and I have an Instagram and TikTok. So if you guys want to support me in any way, I greatly appreciate it. I love you guys. So I'm like an entrepreneurship fashion girl, Pinterest girl if you call it. So, you know, military, not part of my plans. I'm also Mexican, full on, born in Mexico, Chihuahua, Mexico. So being yeehaw military was never, you know, in your girl's wildest dreams, really. So life kind of just happened. But if you're like me and military was never a part of your life, or if you didn't know anything about military before this video, then I'm with your girl because I had no idea. So I'm gonna ravel into some questions about the military. Like I said, this is a little bit of backstory. So yeah, whatever. We met in college, and then when we started dating and got a little bit serious, I think it was like a year into our dating relationship. You know, we both, prior to dating each other, prayed about our relationship, and he wasn't a Christian, he became a Christian. I had been a Christian, so it was like a really big deal for me. And this is like just our relationship background. And then after he became a Christian, we started dating and, you know, fell in love, all those things. And then he freaking left me to go to the military. So it was a trick. He got me, and then he said, yeehaw, I'm gonna be deployed in Bahrain for 2 years. So he literally, we were a year in, he left, or 2 years in, something like that. And then he left for 2 years to Bahrain. And in the Middle East, he decided to come home and propose to me and then leave for another year. So it was a whole trip. I was engaged for like a year, and it was long distance. So long distance was super hard doing it, but you know, I also have videos of me sending him care packages and, you know, kind of dealing with long distance videos. So you can watch that as well. But whatever, we got engaged and we made it work somehow upon the wedding. I know they say like the groom never actually does anything in the wedding, but obviously it was super important for him to actually be with me. I felt like I was just gonna marry myself because I was just planning a wedding with me and my best friend Rose. She literally was my husband for like a whole year. But anyways, not mad, not salty. We finally got married. He came back and we got married. Like I said, we got married legally a year before, so that whenever he got out of Bahrain and we came to our new station here, which is in Georgia, we got legally married so we could have a house. Because in the military, it doesn't matter if you're engaged, it doesn't matter whatever, unless it's legally done, it don't mean nothing to them. So we got legally married. Obviously that was still like us getting married. It was still super special. I also have a vlog on our civil wedding. You guys can watch that. Literally, I have my whole life documented just for fun, so you can watch all of it if you want. And yeah, that was super special. We got married, and then we came here to Georgia. We got our home. So we got our home before we actually got married, like our big wedding, which that video is still coming up. We finally got our house here, and I came here with Henry. That's my husband, Henry. I came here with him around October of last year to get our house. So we got our house. I stayed here for like a month, and then I went back to Texas where I live to finish my MBA and to finish the preparations for the wedding. And then after that, after like a year of planning and stress, we finally got married, and now I'm here living with him together. Like I said, around 5 years in the relationship already, and 4 months living here as like an actual wife. So that's a long story. So I literally try to sum up 5 years in like 3 minutes. But yeah, that's just a little background of my personal experience. He's in the Navy, so we are a Navy military family. Now we can get into the Q&A. Actually, I want to say another little disclaimer before we get into the Q&A. Like I said, I've done a lot of videos on military wives or military girlfriends. So I have gotten a lot of DMs prior to this video. You know, it's been like 3 years since I posted that first vlog of me talking about my experience in the boot camp, and I still get DMs about it on my Instagram. So I still like answer them not every day, you know, but like every month I get like a question or two. From the type of questions that I get a certain vibe of, you know, what you're thinking. Obviously I went through it too, because when I was a military girlfriend, I was like looking up all these things because I didn't know anything about the military. But I just want to put a little disclaimer that all of these questions are very much based around the husband and around, you know, the military life, which obviously makes sense as a military wife Q&A. But I don't know, the way they're worded, it just makes it sound like a total focus on the husband and his journey in the military and like how you step into that it makes me feel like you guys forget about yourselves as like, you know, at the end of the day, being in the military, I mean, serving your country, it's a lot of sacrifice, and I don't want to downgrade it in any way, but at the end of the day, it's just a job, you know. It's a sucky job sometimes, it's a good job sometimes. It depends on where you're stationed, and depends on the people you work with, you know, it's a lot of ups and downs, but it's a job, you know. So all the questions that I've gotten throughout the years just make me feel like when you start dating a person in the military, or when you're dating and your significant other goes into the military, it's a lot of like, how am I gonna support him? How am I gonna, like, you know, make him feel better? Or like, how am I gonna, whenever we get married, how am I gonna make it work? And all of those things are super valid because it's something you think about, and it's obviously super good because when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be selfless, right? You're supposed to like want to serve the other person, want to like help them grow. But being in the military, I think, requires like a strong mindset, and you can't just think about him. Even if you're dating, I get a lot of people, mostly girls that are dating, and it's mostly, I mean, I'm young, I'm 23, but it's mostly like younger girls, like in the teens and stuff, that are really like, how do I make his life better? And, you know, how do I make him feel good in the military and all that stuff, which that's super important. You know, I did that for Henry when we were dating, and that's super important because it makes him realize like they have a rock in you, like you're gonna be there for them no matter what they choose. But you can't forget about yourself. You can't forget, you know, like, how am I gonna do my job? How am I gonna do my business? How am I gonna like do life? And just focus on the military. At the end of the day, military is a job. So you have to focus more, instead of like the military itself, you have to focus more on like your relationship with your significant other, like either boyfriend or husband, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're in a marriage, or you're like in a relationship. So that's really what you should hone it into. But yeah, obviously learning about the military is super important, and obviously learning about other military wives is super important, and it's a very specific role that you're playing here. You know, it's very specific to be a military wife. It's not like a lot of jobs, you know. It's like a very peculiar one. So yeah, I just wanted to say that first, a disclaimer of not focusing your entire vision on the military itself, but focusing more on your dreams, your personal goals, combined with your husband's military job. It's a combination of you and him that make the marriage work, and that will make it work wherever he's in, because even if he's in the military right now, doesn't mean he's going to be 20 years in the military. So you can't just think about becoming a military wife. You have to think about becoming a wife. You know, first things first, you and him, wherever you go, make it work. That doesn't just mean in the military. It just means whatever we as a couple decide to go in as, that we're gonna do it together. So I know that's not why you clicked on this video, but I just thought I should let you know, because I think it's something so important to not focus on a certain job or a certain situation, but focus on your marriage first, and everything else will follow. And prayer, you know, prayer is key to everything that you do in life. Pray first, then do. Don't act first, because then you regret it. But okay, now that I rambled on for a while, I hope you're still watching, and now let's get to the Q&A. Okay, so these questions are in no particular order. I'm just gonna start reading them off. What's the process of getting married? Was he on leave to do it? And love your videos. Thank you so much. I kind of mentioned it already a little bit. Our process of getting married was different because he was deployed in Bahrain. So since he was deployed, like I said, we didn't have to, but we wanted to get our civil marriage first legally, so we can have a house wherever he was stationed next. Kind of like a safe spot. And it gave us like a year to put in my paperwork in and to fix everything that needed to be fixed before moving in. So that was one thing that we had to do. If you and your husband, or you and your boyfriend, are right now in the same town, or in the same, you know, you're both in the US, and you can have your whole wedding, you know, it really depends on what you want. It's kind of like your preference, because I wanted a big dream fairy tale wedding. So I wasn't gonna give that up just because I wanted to be with him. And that was a hard decision, because at first I was so eager to just be with him, you know, because I had been separated. So I was willing to give everything up, and I was willing to just have a small wedding and just like make it fast and all that. And I'm glad that I didn't, because it's something that you never get back. Your wedding day, it's something that it's so special. If you're into that, you know, if your dream wedding is an intimate wedding, then go for it. It's kind of like a personal preference, but that's how it worked for me. We got married and we got that civil intimate wedding in July, and then next year in May, we got that big glamorous wedding. So that's what worked for us. It's kind of like a personal preference for each. The next question is making friends on base hard? I think so, but it depends, like I said, on your circumstance or where I'm at. I actually have, my neighbor is my friend, but she's not my friend because she's my neighbor, so it's complicated. Her husband was in training, like when we first got to this base, you have to go through like a little training before you get into your job. And they were on training together, also with our roommate. If you guys don't know, we live with a roommate. He's in the military. He's been in the military with my husband since boot camp, so they've been together, stationed every single time together. So he's like a good friend. He lives with us, so they were all three of them were together in the training, and that's how we became friends, me and his wife, because of Henry. And actually, I have this other friend who's actually in the military herself, and she worked with my husband. My husband told her about my YouTube and told her about my boutique, because he like tells everyone in his work about my YouTube and about my small business. So I became friends with her through his work. So that's how I've personally made friends. I know I'm in a group on Facebook about like military wives from this base, but personally I haven't made any friends from there. I haven't posted. I don't really ever look at it either. It's a lot of like, do you guys know of a good nail salon, and like stuff, questions like that. But yeah, just going out to my neighbor and saying hi, not really my thing. I think it depends what kind of person you are. There's definitely nice people around me, but just not that type of gal. Also on the topic, oh, my dog's up here. On the topic of living with a roommate, it's not bad. I'm an only child, so I guess I'm like learning how to live with people. I see everything in life as an experience, so I just think it's like living with a sibling, or what it would be like to live with a sibling. I think it's nice because, like I said, I don't have a lot of friends here, so whenever Henry's working and our roommate, he's here, I don't feel alone. You know, I feel like I go downstairs, he's gonna watch TV, or like if I need something, he's gonna help me do it, or if I'm bored, I'm like, let's like, sometimes he's like, you wanna go grocery shopping? Like, I wanna get out of the house, and we go grocery shopping. So I don't know, it's just like having a friend. And he's really good friends with my husband, so I think also really important to living with a roommate is the fact that your husband sets like ground rules, or like if something bothers you, like he puts me first, not Miles, our roommate. So I think that's super important, the fact that Henry puts me first no matter what the situation is. So I feel okay. I mean, Miles, we're not planning to kick you out, but like if he ever pisses me off and I'm like, I want him out, Henry will just kick him out. And I know that sounds mean, but I mean, in a marriage, it's really important to know that he has you first before anyone else. Like, it's not his friends first, not his family first, it's me, you know, and obviously God. But yeah, I don't know, I don't mind it. This next question is, how do you navigate morphing both of your lives into one? So this one is a little complicated. I think it's a lot of communication with your husband. You have to realize what you're willing to let go and what you're not willing to let go, so you both know you're in the same page, like what you're working towards. So like I said, we're going to marriage counseling, which also that helps a lot to build our perspective and put both of our lives into one combined goal, basically, because that's what marriage is. It's like a combined goal you're constantly working towards, and that goal changes over time, but you have to be in the same page about it. So yeah, you morph your life together by just giving up certain stuff that you don't need or you're willing to put a hold on, and working towards the goals that you can reach. You just have to let your husband know what you're willing to give up and what you're not, and also like vice versa. A lot of things could also be like, how long are we going to stay in the military? If you're liking the military, if you're liking your base, if you're liking where you're going, you know, it's all of a process intertwined in your marriage. Another question that I had got is, have you used the spouse scholarship My CAA? I hadn't heard about this until this question popped up. My CAA, I googled it, and it's basically like they give you a scholarship, but it's only for certain degrees. So I'm a fashion major, so there was no thing for fashion, and either way I had already gotten my degree, thank God. Yeah, if you want to do that, I think it's more like healthcare oriented, you can do that. There's a lot of school opportunities that you can have as a military spouse, so I would for sure take advantage of that. But for me, I'm fashion, so you know, that's a very specific job requirement that I'm like going for. So currently I'm trying to look for remote fashion jobs, so like online stylist and online shopper, stuff like that. Another question is, how is it moving around so much? So I've actually, prior to military, I've moved around my whole life. Like I said, I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and then I moved when I was around 10 years old to the US, and I lived in Laredo, Texas for like, I don't know, 8 years, I don't remember. And then I moved to San Antonio, Texas to study, and then I moved back to Laredo, and then I moved now to Georgia. So I've been constantly moving my whole life. To me, it's just kind of like different seasons in your life. I see like my childhood in Mexico, and then my teenager years in like Texas, and then now my adulthood starting in Georgia and moving wherever we're going next. But it's kind of just like a mentality, really. Wherever you go, you have to make the best out of it, and if you have a positive mindset, I believe it's going to help you wherever you're at. If you're a complainer, you're going to complain wherever you go. If you try to always see the best in life, then you're gonna try to see the best in life wherever you go. There's an opportunity wherever you go. And I also think, you know, with our prayers and how we believe in Jesus and God, we believe that everything we pray for and wherever we go, there's a purpose for us. And I think it's really important to not just go into a place kind of like, well, I have to be here, because then you're gonna hate life. You know, if you go into a place and see an opportunity, no matter wherever that is, you're gonna make an opportunity out of it. So just remember, like I said, it's a job, and at the end of the day, however long you guys choose to be in the military, it's your life. So don't let your life just pass by. Like right now we're in South Georgia. There's literally nothing to do here, but I still find ways to live my life. You know, like there's really pretty nature. I get to see deer in my backyard. Like there's a beach that's really close by, so I wanna be like a beach girl. Like it actually gets cold here, unlike Texas. There's always pros and cons wherever you go, so you have to really maintain a positive mindset when you're in the military, because you know it's always kind of unknown. It's always, I wonder where we're gonna go next, I wonder if we're gonna be separated, we're gonna be together. It's kind of like sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's good, but if you have a positive mindset, that's just in life, you'll have a better life, I believe. Next one is, what's your favorite thing about the base you're at now? So like I said, I love the freaking nature. It's so beautiful. They have long trees, like big trees. I always show them on all of my vlogs. Literally, it's like, it's so calming to just step outside in my backyard and see these long trees and these beautiful scenery just in my yard. Like that's crazy. I love going on walks here. I love that I have my puppies with me. You know, I love that it actually gets cold. Like this morning is actually getting a little chilly, and that's very rare for a Texas girl. So that's what I like about my base right now. Do you go to the gym on base? I went once with my neighbor, and it's not really my vibe. I go to Planet Fitness because it's literally the only gym available where I'm at, and I actually really like it. I think it's clean, I think it's good, and I'm not a professional gym girl, so it has a treadmill, has some weights. That's good enough for me. This one is, do you get to spend a lot of time with your husband or not really? Sometimes. Right now he just switched back to day shifts. It depends on your husband's job. So he used to be on night shifts, and when he was on nights, when he works, I don't really see him. I would see him when he would wake up, and I mentioned in my vlogs, I love to spend like mornings with him, or just like eating a meal together is really important whenever he works. Whenever he's off, I mean, we basically do everything together because I work from home. I do my own schedule, so if we feel like just watching movies all day, and then we just watch movies all day, and if we feel like going on a date, then we go on a date. It's all about just scheduling your time in with him, and right now we don't have kids, so we can literally do that so easily. Like right now, if he gets out early and he's like, let's go eat, then we'll go eat. If you have children though, really take the time to schedule that. You know, whenever he comes home, there's something I learned in my marriage counseling. It's like you really have to make the time for you and your husband. Well, first of all, so your marriage is good, you know, so whenever your child leaves, don't forget who that person in front of you is. That's literally what they told us there. And the second thing is, because if you establish that it's you and your husband first, then your kids are gonna learn to have a good marriage. I don't have kids, but the people in marriage counseling do, and I believe them. Another question is, how are the working schedules for him? Like a normal job or different? They're very different. I don't know if it's related to what he does exactly, but he works, his schedule is kind of weird. He works like 2 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 2 days off. I don't know, it's all confusing, but he works 16-hour shifts. So it's not like a regular job. He works like literally from 3 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's really intense whenever he is in his job. You know, it's just really tiring. I don't think, he doesn't do like a lot of labors, but it's just mentally, you know, physically draining because you're there for so long. And that's his specific job. He's an MA in the Navy. So one is, how was it moving away from family? So moving away from family is hard because it's literally just me, Henry, and our roommate Miles that live here. So it's like I don't have anyone else, and sometimes it does get, you know, really sad because I just want to go next door and like go to my parents' house, or I just want to go visit my cousins or even my friends. You know, it's hard to move away from home always, but I think it's really important, like I said, your mindset first of all. Second of all, making time for dates. Like if it's just you and him in a town, then spend time with him, you know. And then the third one would be like really step out of your comfort zone to make friends. Making friends, making connections, it's so important. For me, I mean, we go to church, so we started the marriage counseling is at church, so we're already meeting people there. And then I like step out to ask my 2 friends that I have here if they want to hang out. You know, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to make friends wherever you go, like at the gym. If you see someone, like literally just talk to them, and the worst that can happen is like they don't want to talk to you, or you get a friend. I think building like good relationships, good friendships is really important when you're away from home, because at least that interaction makes you just feel like a community. And then I think also other military wives that are stationed where you're at probably miss their home as well. You know, they probably also want to make friends and not be alone all the time. So that's really important. And I think another thing is I talk to my family like all the time. Like I said, we're Mexican, so we talk literally like every day. Like I know what's going on with my parents 24/7 because we literally talk all the time. And then I also mentioned in a lot of my vlogs that I'm literally always FaceTiming my cousin, and I FaceTime like 4 of my cousins. So we're a really close family, and I think FaceTime is such a blessing because you literally feel like they're right there. Like I could be cooking and I just talk to my parents through my FaceTime whenever I miss them. And then also scheduling times to visit is super important because it gives you something to look forward to. Like my parents are supposed to come next month for my birthday. I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna vlog that too. Scheduling times where you're gonna see each other is so important because it just makes time a lot shorter. And whenever you schedule little time frames, it makes time go so much faster because you're excited for like 4 months instead of a whole year. In a month, I'm gonna get to see my parents, and that makes me feel a lot better. And I think seeing them at least 2 to 3 to 4 times a year is really helpful for me. I want to see them like every single day. I miss them so much. These two kind of go together. Is it hard being on a military schedule, and is it hard to schedule vacations? So being on a military schedule, it's not super hard because most of the time it's like set things. Like I said, he works 2 days and then he's off 3. What is hard though is that he randomly gets called in for nothing. So, or not nothing, but like he gets called in to do like certain stuff, and it kind of like throws off your day. And the other thing that's hard is that since they work so much, it's kind of annoying because then they come home and you know that they're super tired, but you want them to do stuff around the house because I'm a stay-at-home wife, so I'm here all the time. So I clean, I cook, and you know, I also work a little bit. So it's just like you know that they're tired, you know that they're working so much, but you're still a wife, you're still like their partner, so you want them to get home and clean their stuff, you know, like get home and get a broom and start brooming, because I've been doing dishes all day. Like I don't know, that's what's hard with the military schedule for me personally. Vacations suck. I think vacations suck so much because they have to ask for leave time, and sometimes they get approved, sometimes they don't get approved. So that's been hard for me because I just want to go home, and I know that I can go by myself, but since we're so fresh in our marriage, I don't want to start just doing things by myself. We just got married, you know. I feel like there's certain rules with your family that need to be established when you first get married. And if I just start going to see my parents every weekend, then it's like it's gonna be a set thing that I'm just gonna start doing it, you know. If at the beginning it's like, oh, me and him are gonna go, me and him are making decisions, then it kind of makes that separation between family and marriage, which I think is super important because I've seen it firsthand where it takes a toll on the marriage. So I don't want that, you know. I mean, I miss my parents like crazy, but I think it's like so important to build that foundation in your marriage first. But yeah, vacation time sucks, especially with Henry, because he's so freaking annoying. Like I tell him like get this day off or whatever, and he like overthinks it, or like I don't know, he sees his leave days as like gold, so he tries to save him up, which like I understand, but I'm like, I want to do stuff 24/7. I want to go freaking to Orlando. I want to go to Disney World. Like I want to go on a trip like every single weekend. So that's been, you know, a little discussion we've had to have. Next one is, how long will you guys be stationed in one place? We have a year left here in Georgia, so 1 more year and then we go off somewhere else, and I'm really excited. I'll make videos wherever I'm at, so you guys will see vlogs of me around the world. The other one is, would you mind if your husband stayed in the Navy for another term or contract? Right now he's gonna stay in. He's gonna renew his contract because he doesn't have his degree. So if your husband doesn't have his degree, it's such a great opportunity for him to get his degree in the military because they pay for it. So I don't want our wings to be cut off. Basically, I want to have options in my life, so I want him to get studied up and get that straight before we leave the military. And then also I want to have kids in the military because there's such great benefits that come with it, and so far I haven't hated the military. So if I start to hate it, I mean, we'll get out depending on our financial statement and our life is looking at the moment, but so far the military has been really good to us. My husband has been blessed to be able to move up really fast. Like from where he started, he's ahead of the game compared to people around him. So as long as he keeps going up and we keep getting blessed with really good stations, good people he works with, then I don't see why we should be getting out. This next question is, do you think it's easier to be a military wife than a girlfriend? I definitely think so, because being a military girlfriend, it's like all the work without the reward, basically. It's like literally putting all this work in hope of a marriage, in hope of a life with this partner, which is, I mean, super crucial for your actual marriage. But being a military wife is just so much better because you're literally already living with them. You already have this security of it's you and him. Now you're making plans together. It's not like him and his life in the military and then you trying to like merge into it. You know, you're already a part of it. And I think a lot of it also has to do with the husband, with the partner. Like if he's in the military and you're a girlfriend and he's not explaining to you like what's happening, he's not making you feel safe about how your relationship is gonna go and how you guys' future is intertwined together, like in the military and in marriage, then that's already a red flag for me, because if he's not taking care of you as a girlfriend, he probably won't take care of you as a wife. And I don't mean like he doesn't love you, I just mean, girl, you really gotta think about it, because it's gonna be you and him alone, stationed somewhere, and the way he treats you now, it's gonna enhance. And if he already treats you really good now, like Henry was a really good boyfriend, it'll also come down a bit. And I don't mean that he's not a good husband now, I just mean like you're not in the persuasive girlfriend, boyfriend type of like romanticize your life together, you know, the pursuit of dating. You're married, so it's more comfortable. So if he was bringing you flowers 24/7 when you were dating, he probably won't do that when you're married, because you're married. It's like you're safe with each other, you're comfortable with each other, you're no longer trying to pursue each other the same. And you know, that's also part of marriage. You have to keep on pursuing each other, you have to keep on doing that, but it just gets so comfortable that you don't do the same things, vice versa. Like if you were like writing him letters every day and like texting him every single day, wanting to see him 24/7, now that you're married, you're like, leave me alone, I want to watch YouTube, you know? Like it's just a thing when you're married. It's like you become comfortable with each other. So if he's already lacking as a boyfriend, then he's definitely gonna lack as a husband. Like this is your free Amazon trial. Well, I don't know why I said Amazon, but this is your free trial in to see what your marriage is gonna look like. If you don't like it, get out. If you don't think he makes you feel wanted, if he doesn't make you feel safe, if he doesn't make you feel like you're valued, if he doesn't make you feel like once you get married everything's gonna be okay, or like he's got your back no matter what, then don't do it, because it's hard to be a military wife. It's hard. You need him as your backbone and you need to be his backbone. It's both ways. So you're giving up your whole life, you're moving countries to wherever he's at. Yeah, he provides financially, but finance is not everything. If you don't have a good marriage, finance is literally, you could be rich and still be miserable. Like if you have a good marriage, that's literally the center of everything. Focus on your relationship. If you don't see a relationship grow as a boyfriend and girlfriend, girl, it's not worth it, I swear. Like just get out. There's something for you. And there's, you know, I've also learned that there's, whenever you get married, it's literally a godly partnership put together for a reason. Like there's a purpose in your marriage. So like whatever his job is, whatever your job is, whatever his likes are and your likes, you're meant to be together for a reason. So if you don't listen to your gut, if you don't listen to God and you keep going for this relationship that you know he's not giving you what you want, and you know you're not like 100% happy as a girlfriend, you're gonna be miserable in marriage. Like it's literally like getting a sampler of the ice cream and then getting the whole thing. If it's a little bit too sweet with the sample, it's gonna be super sweet when you get the whole thing, and you're gonna want to throw that thing out because you don't want it. It's not your taste. So really think about it when you're dating. If you really see a future with this man, if you really think he cares about you, then go for it. But if not, follow your gut. It doesn't matter how long you've been dating. It doesn't matter what everyone says. Who cares what people say? People are not in your marriage. People are not in your life. People are not going to be with you 20 years from now, or when you're depressed in your room crying. Like people are not there. It's only you, yourself, and God. So pray about it, think about it, and follow your gut, because that's your spirit. That's all I'm going to say about that. I guess wrapping into that question, I got this question that says, how do you get over that insecurity of not being good enough for them to stay loyal? It's literally what I just said. Like if he's not loyal right now, or you don't feel secure, get out of it, because there's so many things you have to do apart in the military. Like there's boot camp, there's deployment, there's 16-hour-long work hours that he has to do. There's so much separation when you work for the military, depending on his job. You know, if he's on a ship, like he's gonna be gone for like months if that's his actual job. Like if it's, I don't know, if he's a Marine or whatever he is, you're gonna be separated. Like that's a fact in the military. You're gonna be separated one way or another. And if your marriage is not strong enough, it's not gonna survive. So if you don't feel like he's loyal now, he's not gonna be loyal then. And if he is loyal, but he doesn't give you that security, he's not gonna give you that security then. And women have the beauty of overthinking and creating crazy scenarios in their minds. So if you're creating them now, you're gonna go insane married. Like literally anything's gonna make you question your life decisions. You're gonna be like, why did I do this? You know, even in a good marriage, sometimes you question your life decisions because life is like, it's life. You never know what the hell is happening. That's why we pray. But yeah, if he makes you feel like poop now, toss him. You don't need him. You got this. I believe in you. I feel like I was kind of all over the place. I had a lot of thoughts. It's been a long while since I've made one of these sit down videos and I'm a little bit jittery because of that coffee. But either way, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did and you care about my vibe and who I am, then you guys can stay tuned, subscribe, like, and I'm gonna keep vlogging my whole life because that's just what I do, literally for fun. So I love you guys, and also don't forget, if you have any more questions, concerns, you just need to talk to somebody, you guys can always DM me on my Instagram. I try to answer to every single person that I see. You know, I still answer to comments from that video that was like made 3 years ago. I really try to like answer you guys' questions because I know what it feels like to not have anyone in the military and to feel kind of lost. And also don't forget to pray. I've always said this and I'll continue to say this. Prayer is so important. Without prayer, you literally don't know what's happening. And with prayer, you still don't know what's happening sometimes, but it gives you a sense of hope and it aligns your path to where you're supposed to be. So trust your gut, pray, DM me down below. I love you guys and stay tuned for my next video. Bye. Test. Do you like the background?